We are extremely pleased that you are here. You are knowing what you are wanting, and you understand that the variety in which you stand is what helps you to identify your next preference and your next and your next. You may have sensed what was coming next, and that's why you didn't willingly go along with that. We see why you wouldn't like that, because it feels good to have the things you want. You develop these patterns of attraction, you might say, that are so consistent that you begin to think that things aren't changing. Sometimes it's even different faces and different places, but it's essentially the same thing. We take responsibility for it, and we say, taking responsibility for it is certainly the first step, but then if you don't like what you're getting, you gotta think different thoughts. Do you know that what is gets most of your attention, and do you know that most of you offer your vibration in response to what you're observing? So if what you're observing is what you like, then that's a good thing, because you just keep holding steady on things that you like. You've got to imagine with the clarity of your mind the details of your life the way you like them. If you've got something that's off in your experience, it's really worth it to put it in your mind the way you want it. In other words, there are all kinds of things that might happen in a day that aren't important in the whole scheme of things, but these picky little things that you use as your excuse to think and feel are what make up the basis of your vibration. Now, resent is a strong word, but when you're in a hurry, it matters. So when something matters and it doesn't work out the way you want it to, it's easy to get into a feeling of resentment. You've got to envision something differently. You've got to pick through the memory of your mind for events in the past. You've got to observe in the plethora that surrounds you. But if what you're viewing, what you're focusing on, what you're getting isn't pleasing to you, then you've got to tell a different story. Seems like a lot of time to spend on something so unimportant. But we want to convey to you that you are physical beings, yes, but you are vibrational beings most. And the vibration of your being is what law of attraction is responding to. And there's no point in you not living perfect lives. There's no point in the universe knocking itself out, and it does, to line up all kinds of circumstances and events for you, and you to be out of whack with them because you're focused upon something that in the whole scheme of things doesn't matter at all, you see. Everybody sort of has their dominant issue that you are working on, and law of attraction is just reflecting back to you constantly how you're doing. You come forth in clusters with intentions to enhance one another's experience. And when you meet up with your cluster, it's really fun. They have been catalysts to help you line up. In other words, because there is danger in that, if you care about what others think, if you have the good fortune of having someone who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on, then they're a catalyst to help you line up. But if there's someone who is in a place of lack, then they are a catalyst that influences you to your separation from who you are. And so we would far rather emphasize that something within you that is already a powerful propensity to closing that gap and being in alignment is enhanced when you're interacting with these people that you are describing. You see, if you've been hearing us, and you have, when we say to you that your source energy, and you come into this body and you know what you don't want, so you know what you do want, so you're sending out these rockets, these constant rockets of desires, which the source within you embraces and becomes. We want you to really hear that your manifestation that will follow is always preceded by the vibrational part of you. In other words, thought vibration always comes first. So what we're saying is this meeting gathered long before your physical bodies got here. And we want to add a little bit of power to that by saying that when you train your children to do things that please you, you've coaxed them away from their own guidance.
Absolutely.
So now they're always on the hunt for someone to please, which means they'll never have anything stable in their experience. And so there is a collective asking that we are answering. But in time, message morphs into another way of explaining it and another way of explaining it, because you'll never stop asking and we'll never stop answering. In other words, you are a powerful creator and you are in your singularity important to the expansion of this message. Know it. In other words, every time you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and it becomes part of your vibrational escrow. So there is this constantly evolving, expanding version of you that precedes the manifestations that you live. So when you focus upon her as she is, the reason that it is so upsetting to you is because you're activating within yourself, beating the drum of a vibration that's very far apart from what's in your vibrational escrow. So you have to, by virtue of the way it feels, find increasingly improved thought. So what we're wanting to say to all of you is, we think it would be prudent for you to manage the gap between who you're letting yourself be and who you've really become. And this is what the Alzheimer's epidemic is about. This is what the dementia epidemic is about. There are so many people who have been rooted in thoughts that are so far from who they have become that the tug of war within them is so great that the dementia is the way that they are distracted from that thought that then will let them move along. This is something that is central to who you really are. Friends, you got to make peace with the fact that you're not going to be in these physical bodies very long. And the only way that we know to help you to do that is to embrace the totality of who you are. And people start missing their parents before they're even gone. And we say, are you really going to miss her pain? Are you really going to miss her misery? Are you really going to miss her discomfort? Are you really going to miss that? You're not going to miss it. So why are you clinging to it like it's something worth missing? That's not worth missing. That's the thing that sucks the life out of you. That's the part of life that is so abhorrent and so opposite of who you are, and yet it's a part of life that so many of you give your attention to. And the majority of you, even in this room, feel guilty when you don't. It's just not right, most people would say, for you to feel joyful about the eternal nature of your mother. And we say, you got to let this vibration thing reign supreme. You've got to care about how you feel. You've got to tend to your energy first and then take action once you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And most of you are so busy being committed and doing what you should do through your actions that you don't stand a chance of being in alignment, and then you have to get Alzheimer's to even reemerge. We just want you to lighten up on all of this. This is not something that's gone terribly wrong. This is something that's finally going right. It's going right. It's going right. Just relax into it and enjoy it. You just don't need to worry about what's going on. There is nothing that deserves your attention. There is nothing to worry about. The well-being is so big. Think about it. Your inner being won't even join you in one negative thought. What are the odds of you having been sent here to prove some sort of worthiness to something, you see? And when you reach for thoughts that just give you a little bit of relief, that's all you can do. The well-being, your deservability, it is so in place. But you can just reach for an improved thought. Just reach for a feeling of relief until before you know it, you are seeing the world day by day, hour by hour, segment by segment through the eyes of Source. It's the vibrational escrow viewpoint. Oh, it's getting stronger and stronger, isn't it? If you give your attention to anything less than the vibrational escrow version of you, you're separating yourself from who you are. But the reason you feel bad is you have affected a separation because you're sloppy in your point of view. Strong words. Vibrational escrow is where it's at. Who you've become is where it's at. Looking at anything less than who you've become doesn't cut it anymore for those of you who have come forth as genius creators in the fastest expansion of creation ever upon this planet. Keep yourself feeling optimistic more than pessimistic, and eager more than depressed, and looking forward rather than worrying. If you can hold yourself just pretty consistently there, if you have people in your life that are displeasing you and they keep staying in your life, it's because you keep noticing that they're displeasing you, and your attention to that is what's holding them there. If you find things within them that are pleasing you and you give that your attention, then you hold those parts of them to you. You're not going to find anybody that's a perfect match to your vibrational escrow. It's your job to be that, you see. And here is the most significant part of this. Focus upon the vision, because anything less is uncomfortable to you. It's not their job, it's your vision. It's your vibrational escrow. We've enjoyed this immensely. There is eternal love here for you.